Hey everyone, welcome back. Irisa, I hope you're having a great day so far, and I truly appreciate you joining me here today. The conversation we're about to dive into is one that directly impacts everyday Americans, especially those who are working hard to stretch their paychecks or those seniors living on fixed incomes through Social Security. Back in July, Missouri Senator Josh Hawley introduced a new proposal in Washington that's gaining attention nationwide. The idea is centered around tariff revenue and how that money could be returned to the American people in the form of direct rebate checks. If passed, the plan would send out $600 to each individual, and a family of four could receive $2,400. For many, that kind of direct cash assistance could provide temporary relief in a time when prices remain high and economic pressures weigh heavily on millions of households. Before we go deeper into this important discussion, I'd like to take a moment to introduce my channel, Truth Lens. This is the place where we break down complex political and economic updates in a way that connects them directly to your daily life. My goal is to strip away the noise and give you clear, honest updates about policies, government actions, and financial changes that affect you and your family. I especially make it a mission to highlight the struggles of seniors in America because so many are trying to make ends meet on limited Social Security checks while dealing with rising costs in healthcare, housing, and basic necessities. If you've ever felt like Washington doesn't always understand your situation, you're in the right place, because here at Truth Lens, we tell these stories from your perspective. Now, let's break down exactly what Senator Hawley is proposing. In July, he put forward legislation that would take tariff revenues and redistribute a portion of them directly to American citizens. To put it simply, tariffs are taxes that foreign countries pay when selling their goods into the United States. When President Donald Trump introduced higher tariffs during his administration, the government collected billions in revenue from these foreign governments. Hawley's idea is to ensure that this money doesn't just sit in government accounts. It would instead be turned around and sent to American families in the form of rebate checks. For individuals, that means $600 each, and for families, an additional $600 per dependent child. So a household of four, for example, could be looking at $2,400 in stimulus-style rebates. To many Americans, that amount could be a lifeline. Think about seniors who are living on $1,200 or $1,400 a month from Social Security, with rent, utilities, medications, and groceries continuing to climb. A one-time rebate check of $600 may not solve every financial hardship, but it could provide a month of relief from choosing between paying for prescriptions or keeping the lights on. It could cover a utility bill, buy several weeks worth of groceries, or help offset the cost of Medicare deductibles and co-pays. For a couple relying on two Social Security checks, $1,200 could stretch even further, providing a bit of breathing room that so many desperately need right now. There are, of course, debates on both sides of this proposal. Critics argue that tariffs can raise costs for American businesses and consumers by making imported goods more expensive. We've seen this play out in the past when tariffs were first introduced, with some warning that higher prices could trigger inflation or even slow economic growth. But supporters of the plan point to the fact that the U.S. economy has remained resilient, with stock markets performing strongly and many companies reporting solid earnings. In their view, if the government is collecting billions from foreign nations who want access to the American market, then the fairest thing to do is return some of that revenue directly to the people who make this economy work: American families, workers, and retirees. This proposal is unique in that it would be deficit neutral, meaning it doesn't add to the national debt. The money being distributed comes directly from tariffs that have already been collected, not from borrowing or creating new government debt. That's an important distinction, especially for those who worry about how much money the government continues to spend without a plan to pay it back. Seniors, in particular, often express concerns about what rising debt means for the future of Social Security and Medicare. With this plan, supporters argue rebate checks could be issued without putting additional strain on those programs. President Trump himself has spoken about this idea, praising the notion of giving Americans direct checks from tariff revenue. He even floated the possibility, though highly unlikely, of eliminating income tax altogether for those making under $100,000 or $200,000 if tariff revenue remains strong. While most experts don't believe that will ever come to pass, the fact that such ideas are being discussed shows just how significant tariff revenue has become as a source of government funds. Trump has also used this as a political talking point, presenting himself as someone who took tough stances against foreign governments and wants to see everyday Americans benefit directly from those policies. The proposal has sparked mixed reactions among the public. Some believe it's a great way to put money back into people's pockets, while others argue that instead of sending out checks, the government should focus on lowering taxes or reducing overall financial burdens like property tax, income tax, or taxes on Social Security benefits. In the comments sections of various discussions on this topic, many seniors voice frustration that they've paid into the system their entire lives only to still be taxed on the Social Security checks they now rely on. Others feel that instead of short-term rebates, there should be long-term reforms to ensure financial security for retirees and working families. Still, for a lot of Americans, especially those struggling right now, this kind of direct rebate could not come at a better time. Just imagine a retiree couple trying to survive on $2,000 a month combined. Every time they go to the grocery store, they see prices that are 20% higher than just a few years ago. Their rent has gone up, and their medication costs never seem to stop climbing. Receiving $1,200 in rebate checks could help them stock their pantry, refill prescriptions, and cover utility bills without worrying about falling behind. For families with children, $2,400 could go toward school supplies, childcare, or paying down credit card debt that's been building up during these difficult economic times. The bill, officially named the American Worker Rebate Act, is modeled after the direct payments passed by Congress during the pandemic. But unlike those payments, which were funded through government spending, this plan would draw exclusively from tariff revenue. That means if tariffs continue to bring in more than expected, the rebate checks could actually be larger than the $600 baseline. Some projections suggest the amount could potentially double, meaning $1,200 per adult and $4,800 for a family of four. That possibility has sparked hope for many. But again, it all depends on whether the bill gains enough support in Congress to become law. So the big question is, what do you think? Would you welcome a $600 check funded through tariff revenue, or do you think the government should focus on bigger changes like tax reform or permanent increases to Social Security benefits? No matter where you stand, it's undeniable that these discussions highlight just how difficult it has become for many Americans, and particularly seniors, to keep up with the rising cost of living.